When you're improvising, it's so easy to sound like you're just running through the complicated scales and licks you've learned, or to sound like you're playing a series of unrelated phrases. Who invited that guy? But the pros never really seem to have this problem, and part of the reason for that is their use of themes and motifs within their solos. Themes or motifs are basically just short musical ideas that keep coming back, either as exact repeats or slightly changed or developed each time. And they really help to staple everything together, so even contrasting phrases sound like they belong together, and everything sounds so much more melodic. Although this happens in all genres of music, from classical to pop to jazz to rock, everything, one of the clearest examples is at the start of Sonny Rollins' solo on St. Thomas. Hear how he started with a really simple two-note idea, and then repeated it, developed it, until it became this quite long section of music. And then, even when he had that longer phrase there towards the end, he still came back to that original idea to finish. And that idea pops up a whole load of times later on in the solo as well. If you don't know it, I'd really recommend checking it out. It's absolute genius. Now, this might seem really daunting, but it's actually quite simple to practice, especially if you start off just using the minor pentatonic scale over a simple vamp. First thing to do is to come up with a short, simple musical idea. Now just start improvising and come back to that idea after every phrase that you play. Already it's starting to tie everything together, but it might not be the most interesting solo you've ever heard. So let's start developing that motif. Start improvising just like before, but each time you play the motif, try changing the rhythm of it. Now, if you're finding it difficult to improvise different rhythms straight off the bat, feel free to work a few different ones out first. The more you do this, the easier it's going to become, and it won't be too long until you can think up different rhythmic variations like that. Now try changing some of the notes in the motif. You could change one, you could change all of them, anywhere between, but do try and keep the general shape of the idea the same, so it definitely sounds like a developed form of the original idea. And now you're playing a solo that sounds like it belongs together, it's got direction, I mean, it sounds great. And you're not just rinsing up and down your most complicated scales and licks.